Yeah, I mean, I'm 34 now. So, as you say, I have spent most of my life single.
It's horrible.
I've done the whole dating thing. I've done online dating, trying to meet people the conventional, old-fashioned way. I mean, I never found dating fun. I don't know what other people think, but it was just stressful. And I think a lot of it is to do with a disability because you have to kind of get that out of the way first and explain the situation, explain your limitations. Some people get it, some people don't. That's fine. I did at first put pictures on my
Hmm.
profile just of my face, so hiding the wheelchair, almost to see how people reacted. Not even in an attempt to get dates, just to see, what reaction I got. And when I changed it and added photos of me, my whole body in my wheelchair, the reaction was completely different. A lot fewer likes, comments, conversations just changed completely. And so I was more aware of what I shared and the amount of information I shared about my disability and limitations. I think as I've got older and yeah, I got more comfortable with myself, I'm just kind of, yeah, this is me. This is what I've got. This is my baggage. Take it or leave it kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I've never been offended or, mad at people who changed their minds last minute and said, actually, that's not for me. I don't want to get involved with that because that's their preference, that's fair enough. If they don't want to, that's, move on. People often ask me, why do you still live with your parents? Well, this isn't a lifestyle choice, I'm not choosing to be here. It is what it is, and you have to make the best of a bad situation. But yeah, it's you've gotta fight. You've got to be your own advocate. You've got to just yeah, and it is a battle, and you can't sort of be soft about it. You've got to say, this is what I want. This is what I'm entitled to. I'm a human, I need some help. I do rely on carers for all areas of personal care, dressing, washing, meal prep, getting a drink. I don't drive, so if I need to go anywhere, I need somebody to drive me. So yeah, very much dependent on carers, other people. Obviously, I live with my parents, so they do a lot.
In the back of my mind, always thinking of the other person too, because I want to have them have a good time. 'Cause I do know that they're taking time out of their day to go and like help
Yeah,
you or do whatever because it's like you want to do the thing, but like at the back of the mind, you feel a little guilty. Like, do you ever feel guilty when you're
yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you say, it's constantly there in the back of your mind. You have to sort of work your day around carers. It should be the other way around, but let's be honest, it's not. And you are constantly thinking, well, what time am I going to be home? What time am I going to go to bed? What time am I going to get up? How quickly am I going to, finish this appointment, this meeting, this meal, whatever it is?
I wish it was like a bank of good people that we could choose from to like enrich our lives because I think we can both say our lives are extremely difficult the way they are now, and our lives could be significantly better if we do have the proper care with us because sometimes if you're with better people, they are more likely to help you go past what you want to do, if that makes sense.
Based on my current quality of life, health wise, it's a struggle, every day I feel like crap. Every single day, every hour of the day, I'm bloody exhausted. And it's hard work. Everything's hard work. Having a shower, getting dressed, it's hard work.
Hello, welcome to my podcast, To My One Joe Suits. I'm Joe Suits. I'll be giving my to Carrie. Carrie is living life on a slow lane with Ulrich, congenital muscular dystrophy. I've been reading about your insecure single ass. You spending 90% of your life single. Let's type you up and let's get your personality shining so you can stop complaining. You ready to roll? Okay, so I have you
I'm
here.
ready.
You call yourself the behind the scenes girl and hate to be photographed. How does it feel to be in the spotlight with millions watching?
I kind of hope millions aren't watching. It's not in my nature. I'm, as you say, definitely a behind the scenes type. I'm quite happy to be so. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
so
it's
you're like kind of like an
all a
introvert
bit
kind of boy.
foreign to me.
Okay, yeah, I hear
Yeah,
you. It
yeah,
can be
definitely, yeah.
difficult, especially when you're a single person. So let's talk about why do you think you're single?
At
Oh, okay.
present, I'm not. I'm
Congrats.
seeing somebody at the moment, so yeah, it's all quite new and
No, yeah.
yeah.
So you say you spend like 90% of your life single. So do you think your disability is a hindrance to your daily life, or do you think it's like your personality?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 34 now, so as you say, I have spent most of my life single.
It's horrible.
I've done the whole dating thing. I've done online dating, trying to meet people the conventional, old-fashioned way. I mean, I never found dating fun. I don't know what other people think, but it was just stressful. And I think a lot of it is to do with a disability because you have to kind of get that out of the way first and explain the situation, explain your limitations. Some people get it, some people don't. That's fine. But it's
Yeah, it
something
is
to get
brutal the dating that
over.
you have to like get to know someone to know if they're like a piece of shit or not. Like it takes a while sometimes. It
It is
sometimes takes a
brutal,
while for
yeah.
them to show.
It
I
is
I think it's good that we're both
brutal is the
visibly
word,
disabled
yeah.
because it's like clear that we are disabled. Like some have invisible disability that like they can kind of like
Yeah,
hide it, but like we can't. So it's
yeah,
kind of like always the elephant in the room. Like, hey, like we like each other, but like here are my I guess boundaries and like what I can and cannot do. So, like, how do you enter that conversation? Like, do you tell them right
yeah.
away, or do you like talk to them a little bit and then you tell them, or like, how do you approach it?
I think at first when I started doing the whole online dating thing, it was all a bit trial and error. I did at first put pictures on my
Mm-hmm.
profile just of my face, so hiding the wheelchair, almost to see how people reacted, not even in an attempt to get dates, just to see, what reaction I got. And when I changed it and added photos of me, my whole body in my wheelchair, the reaction was completely different. A lot fewer likes, comments, conversations just changed completely. And yeah, at first I was aware of that. And so I was more aware of what I shared and the amount of information I shared about my disability and limitations. I think as I've got older and yeah, I got more comfortable with myself, I'm just kind of, yeah, this is me. This is what I've got. This is my baggage. Take it or leave it kind of thing. I can't do anything about it, as you know, you can't do anything about it. So it is what it is.
Get past the bullshit of things and like, obviously, looks helps tremendously in any capacity, but at this point, it's like, this is who we are as a person. Is either you're gonna like it or you're not. Like it's almost it's not like I think about it. Disability can be almost a catfish in a way. Okay, like you mentioned before, like if you depose your face, I would have no idea that you're disabled, and then like you roll up to the
Yeah,
day, and you're like, you literally roll up to a day, and it's like, oh, oh, like what do I do now? Like I don't know, like yeah, it's like do, like I mean, it is shitty if you don't tell you have
yeah,
a disability and you do have a disability. And it's not everyone perfect to date someone that's disabled, and you almost can't like be mad at them for not wanting to date one. That's just a
yeah,
preference thing, you know. It could kind of maybe be the same. It could probably almost be the same as like let's say
yeah,
you post your
exactly.
face
Yeah,
and you're like 400 pounds, and it's like maybe they don't want to date someone that you have to be realistic about that.
exactly. This is it. Yeah, I mean, I've never been offended or, mad at people who change their minds last minute and said, actually, that's not for me. I don't want to get involved with that because that's their preference. That's fair enough. If they don't want to, that's, move on.
Yeah, it's also like exhausting to explain yourself because you don't want to keep explaining yourself, but you keep finding like new partners because I think it's hard. Well, let's actually do you believe in soulmates?
Do I? That's a good question. I don't know. I think if you'd asked me maybe 10 years ago, I would have said yes. But I think with sort of life experience and as you get older, maybe
Hmm.
become more cynical. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. I think maybe some people do. Not all people. I mean, the person I'm with at the moment, I was friends with first. We've actually known each other for 6, 7 years. just as friends. And then it's, only recently sort of developed into
Yeah.
something more. That helps, definitely, because you've got that whole awkward getting to know each other out of the way. You know each other, you like each other.
Yeah,
So
hell
it's,
yeah.
I
That's
think
kind
that
of
that
that's
helps
actually one of the
massively.
better relationships because you can kind of know that you're can be there for a longer term because most times you're meeting someone brand new, you don't know anything about them, like you don't know if they're a piece of shit or not, like
Yeah.
you don't know if they have like a history or something, like you're really going in
Yeah.
blind. It's almost just scary too, like you really
Yeah.
trusting a random person that you just met online, like they could be a murderer for all you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It is. And there is a lot of trust. I mean, I've got major trust issues for various reasons, and that has kind of stopped me in a lot of ways. I think there comes a point where you've just got to kind of bite the bullet, get on with it. Life's too short. It either works or it doesn't. Go for it. I like to kind of keep my face out of the socials, and it's not me at all. I like to write my blogs and get on with my life.
It is intimidating to put yourself out there, like you don't want to get hurt too. Like I'm sure you got like shitty comments towards you, and that's I don't know why anyone would have to need to express that to you. Like I'm sure you already know how. Well, I have a question for you. Do you feel that you are more extra versus the next person due to your disability?
Obviously, received some nasty comments. I've been on dates where prior to meeting in person, that person's been super keen, messaging every day. Oh, I really like you. I think we're really gonna click and all this. And
Yeah,
then
that's
you
the
meet them in
worst.
person, they're completely different, and they make it very clear that they're not interested. And it's fair enough. Okay, go home, move on. But it does, certain things get to you, certain comments get to you, they stay with you. They certainly have with me. Same in relationships. I've had interesting relationships, things have been said and comments have been made, looks, you remember certain things and it does stay with you and it does to an extent
Did you
hinder
ever
how you go
FaceTime
forward with other
someone and then
people.
like the vibe is not there, and you're like you know in your head like you're never gonna talk to this person again?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, totally, yeah. Yeah,
oh yeah.
it's all. I think texting's easy, isn't it? You can sort of
It's
build
weird
some
that
sort of
it's
fake chemistry with
it's
anybody
weird
over
you say that
text.
because there's some
But
people that
as you say,
are
yeah,
horrible at
FaceTime.
texting and but we get along really well in person. And then sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes we really good at texting, and then when we talk to each other, we're not.
Yeah,
We don't have that same
yeah,
vibe, and it's like I don't really understand it logically, but like such a
yeah,
weird
yeah.
phenomenon.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think I'm kind of what you see is what you get. I'm not a sort of pretentious person, I don't think. But yeah, as you say, some people are just crap at texting. You'll get one word answers and you'll think, this is hard work. But you might meet them in
Hmm.
person and think, oh, actually, they're a really, really cool person. It's
So
just, you've got to
yeah,
try
so I
it.
have
It's
that we're
trial and
both
error.
living in our
That's life.
parents in our 30s. So how lame it is for you to live with your parents at this?
I mean, I don't know how you feel about it in terms of independence and freedom and choice and limitation, but it's far from ideal. It's not how I would choose my life to be. Things in the UK in terms of housing, adaptions, support are very little, and it is a postcode lottery. I mean, some places are better than others, but certainly where I live, it's not good, and it is total lack of choice. People often ask me, why do you still live with your parents? Well, this isn't a lifestyle choice. I'm not choosing to be here. It is what it is, and you have to make the best of a bad situation.
Like, do you actually believe you'll ever be able to leave your house? Like, move out?
I hope. I think you've got to have hope. You've got to keep trying. You've got to keep, battling on, which is what I do every day. It's a battle. You've got to. I mean, if you sort of give up, obviously it's never going to happen. It's not going to land in your lap. You've got to keep trudging on. You've got to keep fighting for it. Yeah, I hope. We shall see. Again, it's very much a postcode lottery. I know people who live in other areas in the UK that get a lot more support, and there's a lot more access to housing. Here, no. It seems to be if you live sort of semi-rurally, you're screwed, really. If you live in London, great. I don't. I never will live in London. But yeah, it's you've got to fight. You've got to be your own advocate. You've got to and it is a battle, and you can't sort of be soft about it. You've got to say, this is what I want. This is what I'm entitled to. I'm a human, I need some help.
We're just gonna move on. So you have Ullrich's congenital muscular dystrophy, which affects everybody differently. I know you are in a power wheelchair and you live with your family, but the question is, are you able to take care of yourself?
No, I do rely on carers for all areas of personal care. Dressing, washing, meal prep, getting a drink. I don't drive, so if I need to go anywhere, I need somebody to drive me. So yeah, very much dependent on carers, other people. Obviously, I live with my parents, so they do a lot. So yeah,
it's extremely difficult because something you really can't
not great
work your way out of. It's always something like I need help with 99% of the things too. I think we were having both the same problems when we were scheduling of working with our caregivers because I couldn't do an earlier time because I didn't have someone available, and then you couldn't do it later because I guess your caregivers weren't available. So we were always having this conflict of let's try to make this work. So I'm glad we were able to make this work now, but yeah, it's extremely difficult to plan really anything because you have to you have to like plan it with a different person on top of that. And like it might not always work out, and it's always like I don't know how you feel, but it's always this like I must have I'm having like a good time somewhere, let's say. In the back of my mind, I'm always thinking of the other person too. Cause I want to have them have a good time. Cause I do know that they're taking time out of their day to go and like help you or do whatever because it's like you want to do the thing, but like at the back of the mind, you feel a little guilty. Like, do you ever feel guilty when you're?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you say, it's constantly there in the back of your mind. You have to sort of work your day around carers. It should be the other way around, but let's be honest, it's not. And you are constantly thinking, well, what time am I going to be home? What time am I going to go to bed? What time am I going to get up? How quickly am I going to, finish this appointment, this meeting, this meal, whatever it is, social events, outings, just meeting a friend. You're constantly clock watching. You can't go out for a whole day, and just spontaneously sit back, relax, have fun, because you're constantly thinking, I've got to be home for this time, otherwise I'm not going to be able to get into bed. It's limiting, and
It's difficult, but like, how
working
is
your
your
life around
situation as in?
carers.
Do you have your parents taking care of mostly locally, or do you have like half and half of the caregiver? Because caregiving is extremely difficult to get.
It certainly is. And care hours, just getting the care hours, let alone finding carers to fill those hours. I mean, I get 25 hours a week, which is not a lot when, spread over a whole week. So I get morning care. And then the rest of the time I'm reliant on my parents, which is again not
I wonder.
not ideal.
I don't know if you have something in your country, but in my state of New York, we have like a lawyer thing, and like they do lawyer things for free for disabled people. And so what I did is I was able to get a lot more hours for myself because we both know we need a lot more hours than 25 hours. So I was able to go from 40 hours to 90 hours. And I wonder if there's something in your country that can like help you get more hours because you definitely need more hours.
Yeah. I mean, it's money. Here, it's very much a case of money. A lot of people use agency carers, which means that you don't have to be the employer and do all the, the boring bits, the management, the paperwork, all of that. And that would be great, but agencies are not good. Certainly the stories I've heard, they're not reliable. And I need reliable. They're also expensive. Yeah, and many do. For a lot of them, it's a job, it's money, it's easy money, A lot of them, I think, just want to pop in, have a chat, and get paid and leave. Well,
Yeah, it's
that's,
horrible because, like,
that's of no use
sometimes
to us, is it?
for both of us, it's our livelihood. If they're shit people, you you really just can't do anything, and it's like extremely frustrating to be in that situation.
Yeah, and I think a lot of them, they're sort of looking at the clock all the time thinking, I want to get out of here as soon as I possibly can. They don't do the full hours that they're supposed to do. So you're sort of rushing around and stressing and thinking, have I got everything I need before they bugger off out the door? And they don't care. It's money, isn't it? They
Yeah,
just
it's
want to
just
get paid and go home.
typical. I mean, I wish it was like a bank of good people that we could choose from to like enrich our lives because I think we can both say our lives are extremely difficult the way they are now, and our lives could be significantly better if we do have the proper care with us because sometimes if you're with better people, they are more likely to help you go past what you want to do, if that makes sense. Like, I'm sure there are places that, like, you would want to go, but you don't
Yeah,
want to go with
yeah.
this person, so you're waiting for someone that's better, more considerate, just more comfortable to be with. And it really sucks as a disabled person that we have to limit ourselves based on
Yeah,
who we are
yeah.
surrounded with.
It's awkward, like if you want to go somewhere far away that's, I don't know, 3, 4 hours drive away, and you're stuck in the
The
car
worst.
with somebody that you don't really get on with, who's, a bit annoying, who's going to talk at you the whole journey. It just ruins the whole day, and you just think, oh,
I know you've been on a road trip to Rosswood, so how was that road trip? Because, like you mentioned, that you need like caregivers and stuff. So how did you were able to go on a road trip with him and like hang out?
well, I went with my parents. So they took me down, they drove. We stayed in a hotel. I had a room to myself, they had a room to themselves. So it was a sort of a backup situation. So they were there as and when I needed them, if I needed them. And I mean, Ross drives. So he sort of, once I was there, I went off with him and he drove us around and we did our own thing. And then, yeah, as I say, my parents were there as a backup. So that was
Oh
ideal
yeah,
kind
that's
of
a
short term
pretty.
getaway.
I know it's shitty to go with your parents to any vacation at this point in our lives, but I think that was pretty smart how you divvy up your, I guess, alone time. So you had your space, your parents had their space, and you were kind of hopefully both able to enjoy the vacation together, but not together at the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah, this is it. In the daytime, I went off and did my thing. They went off and did their thing. They had a good time, they did the whole sightseeing thing, beach, all that. And we had our own space. And as I say, they were just there as a backup when I needed them, which was, well, not ideal, but it's a needs must situation, isn't it?
So I have here that you're doing Duolingo, that you're trying to learn French at the age of 33 now. That's cool. You also have a drastic change from brunette. You also took a drastic change from going from brunette to blonde.
34, yeah.
You have a BA in English and Arts and Design, which is pretty dope. So I have, so I know we've been having a good time, but life's shitty for us in a lot of ways. Like, it's hard to say if it's more shitty than good days, but I think we both try to make it work. I just like to think we're extremely unlucky in so many ways. So I have here you have daily fatigue and respiratory health problems. Do you think you will live a long life given your circumstances?
A long life. Define long life. Um, I mean, I'm under no illusions. I'm not gonna live
I
to be
mean, I
old and
don't think you
grey.
want to though. I wouldn't want to.
I think I've always known that. Even as a little kid, I think I knew that. No, I mean, certainly, based on my current quality of life, health-wise, it's a struggle, every day I feel like crap. Every single day, every hour of the day, I'm bloody exhausted. And it's hard work. Everything's hard work. Having a shower, getting dressed, it's hard work. So yeah, I mean, I'm 34 now. Another 60 years of that. No.
At the same level in a way that we're like, now you understand like what I'm going through, you know? So we're on like the same level playing field, and then I can like talk shit to them or
Yeah.
how like they're gonna start complaining to you like how oh, it sucks to be in a wheelchair and like you can't complain to me like fuck you, you know.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of glossing over, certainly from certain influencers and, social media presences. It's all very, my life's great, and that's wonderful if that is the truth. But I think a lot of us know that that isn't the truth. Daily life is a struggle, and you just have to get on with it the best way you can. But I think for me, my struggles are a lot more health-wise. I mean, not being able to walk's never really bothered me, to be quite honest. Even as a little kid, I was never really fussed. But the health stuff, that gets to me.
It's hard to say we're having a good life or not because, like, we can list a lot of shitty things. Like, do you think you're having a good life?
In certain ways, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, in certain areas it's yeah, great. Others not so great. I think if my health was better, I would be a lot happier. As I said, that for me is the major holdback because it means that there's so many things I can't do. Meeting up with friends, social events, all sorts of things I can't plan. I can't commit to anything because I don't know how I'm going to be on that day. If I feel like crap, there's just no way I'm going to be able to do it. You end up letting people down, so you think, well,
Yeah,
just
I feel you.
don't bother.